Halloween? Done. Thanksgiving? Done. It's now my favorite season. My favorite time of the year, the most wonderful time of the year, Christmas. And you want a sequel to Wrestling on Thanksgiving. And by you, I mean superstar Artemis Prime. So here's the holly jolly history of pro wrestling on Christmas.
Are you the real Santa, or are you just a fat piece of trash?
To be honest, when I started looking into the history of wrestling on Christmas, I wasn't expecting to find much. I knew some of the more notable events, but what I found was that Christmas was a huge night for all the major territories at some point in time. The first known wrestling card to take place on Christmas Day was all the way back in 1902 in Worcester, Mass., when Dan McLeod won the American Heavyweight Championship from Tom Jenkins. This is the same championship that would later become recognized as the World Championship when Frank Gotch defeated European champion George Hackenschmidt. But the first modern-day pro wrestling event to take place on Christmas was in 1965, and again, Indianapolis, Indiana. You'll remember Indy was also where the first show on Thanksgiving took place. But instead of Jim Barnett, this show was run by Dick the Bruiser's WWA. From then on, it seems every territory ran Christmas at least one year. Honolulu, Portland, and Kansas City all hosted events in the 1960s and 70s. But the territories where Christmas shows truly thrived were in Memphis, Minnesota, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Dallas. And on really good years, some of these promoters ran 2 towns that night. How very Santa Claus of them. For instance, in 1983, the same year as the first Starrcade, the Crockett's ran in Greenville, South Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina. And after they bought Georgia Championship Wrestling, they added Atlanta to the schedule, some years running Charlotte and Atlanta at the same time. These areas were consistent homes to wrestling on Christmas from the 1970s right up until 1994. Obviously, not all survived that entire time. The AWA ran their final Christmas night card in 1987, the same year they ran on Thanksgiving for the final time. Georgia Championship Wrestling merged into JCP in 1984, the UWF would merge with JCP also in 1987, ending their tradition of Christmas shows in New Orleans. JCP itself then rebranded as WCW once Turner Broadcasting purchased the promotion from the Crockett's. They'd run Christmas night until 1994. While all these promotions had strong Christmas night traditions, like Thanksgiving in Greensboro, nowhere took advantage of this holiday more than world-class championship wrestling. The Dallas territory held Christmas night events off and on starting in 1978. They started running yearly in 1982, with Christmas Star Wars being born the following year in 1983. The 1982 show saw the birth of the Von Erichs vs. Freebirds feud that would help skyrocket the promotion to one of the hottest in the country. These shows were the pinnacle of the world-class year. Ric Flair defended the NWA World Championship against the Von Erichs 3 years in a row. There were other top worldwide stars on these cards like Abdullah the Butcher, Bruiser Brody, and Antonio Inoki. Eventually, as business started to take a downturn, so did the quality of these shows. While the Von Erichs remained a fixture, the rest of the cards were fairly lackluster and featured really odd stipulations. Like in 1986 when Scott Casey defeated Black Bart in a loser rides a donkey match? But that wasn't their most embarrassing moment. That came the next year, during their final Christmas Star Wars event in 1987. The main event saw Kerry Von Erich vs. Al Perez for the WCWA World Championship. Fritz Von Erich would be handcuffed to Perez's manager, Gary Hart. After the match and an attack by Iceman King Parsons, Fritz was being helped to the back when he clutched his chest and collapsed. A kayfabe heart attack. The tasteless attempt at reigniting the territory backfired. Within 2 years, the promotion was sold to Jerry Jarrett's CWA out of Memphis. Speaking of Memphis, here's the Christmas creature. Look at him. Look at Glenn Jacobs in this monstrosity. I love it, 10 out of 10. The next few years, WCW would be the only notable promotion running on Christmas in the US. That is until 1992 when Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling started their Christmas Chaos events. While only lasting until 1994, the shows were pretty good and did feature some impressive names like Cactus Jack, Chris Candido, the Rock and Roll Express, the Gangstas, and many more. And that brings us to modern-day TV wrestling. While AEW does brand their Christmas week episode as Holiday Bash, they haven't really leaned into it like they have on Thanksgiving. However, in 2020, they were a part of TBS and TNT's 24 Hours of a Christmas Story tradition by reenacting scenes from the movie in between commercial breaks. These were awesome. Look at MJF in that bunny suit. Great stuff.
A football! Oh no, what was I doing? Wake up, stupid! Wake up!
No, wait! I wanted a fish line. I want an official Red Ryder carbon action 200 shot range model air rifle.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, no!
Watch 24 Hours of a Christmas Story on TNT starting Christmas Eve at 8.
And TNA/Impact Wrestling, of course, have had their turn at decking the halls, with lots of visits from Santa and themed episodes. The most iconic, of course, being their 2007 episode from December 20th that featured an Eric Young Christmas party and every match having a festive stipulation, including a ladder match that ended with AJ Styles in a reindeer suit. Poor 2007 AJ. But they all pale in comparison to WWE's holiday celebrations. They've run the gamut from Santa ending Survivor Series or Raw to start the Christmas season, to Santa Claus and evil Santa Claus from the South Pole. I really think they were better off just spending some Max Moon money and making Balls Mahoney here a full Krampus costume. But maybe the new gen couldn't handle it, I don't know. We've seen Santa vs. Santa, Kris Kringle crippled, and jolly old St. Mick run over. And would it really be WWE Christmas without Santa getting hit with a stunner? It's pretty much a guarantee that every year some superstar will dress up as Father Christmas and hijinks will ensue. And we can't end this video without mentioning my favorite WWE Christmas tradition, Tribute to the Troops. While these shows have dipped in quality where they're just throwaway matches filmed during Raw and SmackDown, the early years where they actually went to Afghanistan and Iraq were a lot of fun. For one show a year, WWE put most of their storylines on hold and just had really good and fun matches, along with some great cameos and holiday cheer. HBK vs. Triple H in a boot camp match in 2005, and the six-man tags from 2008 come to mind as particularly fun matches to watch. And again, Stone Cold Steve Austin, but this time as Santa, hitting Vince with a stunner. An all-time classic moment. Also, December to Dismember? Ugh. I'm sure we'll get plenty more joyful holiday memories this year from AEW, Impact, WWE, maybe even your local independent promotion if they're running a Christmas-themed show. Whether you spend December celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Boxing Day, Omisoka, or any other holiday I'm ignorant to, I hope it's filled with whatever makes it special to you. And also wrestling. You should watch wrestling. It's better than anything else you like. And that'll wrap up a great 2022 here at the channel. I'll be back in the new year with more defunct championship wrestling, wrestler profiles, promotion rises and falls, and whatever else comes to mind. Until then, I'm Scott from WrestleSpective. Thanks for watching, and happy holidays.